Hello NBA fans, every day we have news about the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm a Lakers fan and I'm counting on you to subscribe to the channel and leave your. The Lakers intend to make further roster changes, and some players will be traded now or in early 2026. The goal is to sign a high-level player and pursue a championship. The Lakers intend to trade Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, and Rui Hachimura. 3 players up for trade to the Lakers. With the roster virtually finalized for the upcoming NBA season, the Los Angeles Lakers still have some players up for trade. In fact, according to Sean Devaney of Heavy Sports, the franchise had the opportunity to include some names in negotiations, but we declined. Therefore, this indicates that the 2025-26 season should begin with the players currently on the roster. However, no permanent players are certain until the trade deadline. The feeling around the Lakers is that the team is practically set. Therefore, no major trades are expected until the start of the season. Los Angeles has already had opportunities to include players like Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt in trade packages, but they refused to do so, the journalist said. Devaney also explained the situation to an NBA executive. The Los Angeles Lakers and other teams in the league are not currently attacking the trade market. Therefore, management is in a wait-and-see mode. In other words, there is a chance the current roster will start the next campaign, but depending on the results, deals could happen in February, at the trade deadline. Gabriel Vincent. Gabe Vincent joined the Lakers in 2023-24 to be their primary backup point guard. He arrived with high expectations after a strong season with the Miami Heat. However, he suffered an injury in his first year and played in only 11 games. Meanwhile, he didn't click last season. For example, he averaged just 2.8 points in 5 playoff games and shot just 35.7% from the field. The arrival of Marcus Smart further exposes Vincent's potential for a trade. The veteran was reportedly a request from Luka Doncic to bolster the Lakers' defense. There are still questions about how coach J.J. Redick will assemble the starting 5, but he is expected to come off the bench and help the team's second unit. It's worth noting that Gabe Vincent's contract only runs through the end of the 2025-26 season. So, this could also be an indication that he is one of the players who are candidates for trade to the Lakers at the 2026 NBA trade deadline. Jared Vanderbilt. After 3 years with the Lakers, Jared Vanderbilt's time with the franchise may be coming to an end. Despite calls for his departure, he is considered one of the team's main bargaining chips. After all, his production has declined since arriving in Los Angeles. He averaged 4.1 points last season, his lowest average in the NBA since 2020. He also had 5.1 rebounds and shot 48.8% from the field. Likewise, in the playoffs, he only scored 1.4 points per game. Despite his low offensive performance, his main asset to the roster is his defense. Therefore, the Lakers may have preferred to keep him for the start of the campaign and evaluate his fit. However, for clutch points, the player no longer has the coach's trust. While Vanderbilt hasn't performed poorly off the bench, the situation has been so bad that Redick hasn't given him minutes. Once a player loses the coach's trust, it's hard to regain it, the website analyzed. Finally, Vanderbilt has a $10.7 million contract running through 2026-27. Rui Hachimura. Rui Hachimura's situation is different from the other teammates mentioned. This is because he has been a constant for the Lakers over the past 2 years. In 2024-25, he played 59 games, starting 57 of them. As a result, he averaged 13.1 points, 5.0 rebounds, and shot over 50% from the field. Therefore, the suggestion is that he only leave the Lakers if the franchise is looking for another star or another starter. In other words, if a scenario arises where the team needs to shift salaries to a more high-profile player, Hachimura's $17 million contract would be a viable option. The Japanese player is entering his 4th year in Los Angeles. He joined the team in 2022 and has gradually gained more and more play. For example, in his first campaign, he averaged 22 minutes per game. Last season, he played nearly 32 minutes per night, starting for J.J. Redick's team. Lakers blockbuster star trade hopes face harsh reality check. The Los Angeles Lakers preferred flexibility over long-term contracts this offseason to pair Luka Doncic with another star in their post-LeBron James era. Two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo's future in Milwaukee remains in doubt, ESPN's Shams Charania recently reported. Three-time MVP Nikola Jokic also raised a few eyebrows over his decision to postpone extension talks with the Denver Nuggets until after next season. Lakers fans have dreams of pairing one of them with Doncic. But trading for either of the superstars, should they become available, will be a challenging pursuit for the Lakers, according to Dan Woik of The Athletic. Do I think either is realistic as a trade target? No, not really. The market would need to be way suppressed by a player saying they would simply walk to the Lakers in free agency, so 28 other teams shouldn't even consider bidding, and still the Lakers' offer would be thin, Woik wrote on his August 13 mailbag. As it currently stands, the Lakers only have one first-round pick, 2031 or 2032, and their 2032 second-round pick available to trade and over $100 million expiring salaries, if you include LeBron, who opted into his $52.6 million player option. Woik points out 2027 as the biggest summer for the Lakers. Now, 2027 in free agency, should either Giannis or Jokic make it there, could be interesting, especially if Doncic has the kind of season the Lakers expect out of him, Woik wrote. Lakers not punting for stars. But while the 2027 free agency class could potentially be headlined by Jokic, Antetokounmpo, Lakers president Rob Pelinka made it clear they are not punting to chase a star to pair with Doncic, who will turn 27 in February. Make no mistake, we're in win championship now mode always, but I don't want to bore people with apron talk that the basketball public has had enough of that. But in the new system that we're in, having optionality is key to building teams, Pelinka explained during the August 2 press conference that officially marked Doncic's extension deal. I think we have seen some teams get stuck in the aprons, and once you're in them, it's hard to get out of them. But Pelinka left the door open to trading for a star if it is the right move. And we've been very intentional with keeping our optionality to make, win, now moves if there are good, win, now moves to make or to have sort of our flexibility in the future, he added. But I say all that the optionality is there for us to use now if the right move comes our way. We want to make smart moves, but to be in a position of flexibility versus being stuck is really promising for how we're going to build this team moving forward. No long-term money offered. The Lakers avoided offering long-term money this offseason aside from Luka Doncic's 3-year, $165 million maximum extension. Their other moves this offseason were only 2-year deals each to Jake LaRavia, DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart. Both Ayton and Smart have player options on the second year of their deals. LeBron James' $52.6 million will come off the books after next season. New player rankings epitomize Lakers' brutal Austin Reaves dilemma. Austin Reaves is ranked as a top 10 shooting guard, but it's surrounding that matter most. The Los Angeles Lakers are approaching a decision that will play a direct role in the success or shortcomings of the Luka Doncic era. Austin Reaves will be eligible for unrestricted free agency in 2026 and has thus become an option to either extend or re-sign at a later date. In a new set of player rankings for the shooting guard position, the dilemma that will define the Lakers' best course of action was thoroughly, even if perhaps inadvertently, outlined. Reaves has steadily improved throughout each of his first 4 NBA seasons. That came to a head in 2024-25, when he averaged career-best marks of 20.2 points, 5.8 assists, 4.5 rebounds, 1.1 steals, and 2.7 three-point field goals made while shooting at a clip of .460/.377/.877. In response to his success, Hoops Hype has ranked Reaves as the number 9 shooting guard in the NBA, ahead of players such as Desmond Bane, Dyson Daniels, Zach LaVine, and Kobe White. Much could be said and debated about how Reaves compares to the aforementioned players, including those with whom he shares similarities. The bigger picture, however, comes into frame when evaluating the players directly ahead of and behind him, Josh Hart and LaVine. Some might debate if Hart is actually a shooting guard, but the rankings offer insight that could help the Lakers decide how much to pay Reeves based on his apparent positional comparisons. Hoops Hype ranks Austin Reeves as 9th best shooting guard in NBA. There couldn't be a better summarization of the Lakers' dilemma than Hart and LaVine bookending Reeves in the rankings. Hart and LaVine play vastly different roles and are on contracts that exist in different stratospheres. One might make the case that the answer is thus to pay Reeves somewhere in between what Hart and LaVine are making, but the true question is which path he's more likely to head down. Hart is a defensive specialist capable of stuffing the stat sheet with well-rounded contributions, including mid-range magic and proficiency as a passer and rebounder. LaVine is an explosive scorer known to prioritize offense over defense, with a peak season of 27.4 points per game fueling his reputation. Hart is preparing for the second season on a 4-year, $80,915,280 contract, while LaVine will enter the fourth campaign on a 5-year, $215,159,700 deal in 2025-26. Chances are, Reeves will, in fact, sign for a figure that rests somewhere in between Hart's average annual salary of $20,228,820 and LaVine's $43,031,940. He's still just 27 years of age and has increased his averages in every traditional box score area between every season he's played thus far. The question is simple: does Reeves truly offer value that combines what Hart and LaVine bring to the table, or is it just a matter of rewarding production? Austin Reeves slots between Josh Hart and Zach LaVine, and his contract likely will, too. The reality of team building in a salary-capped league is that Reeves' financial value to the Lakers depends entirely on how he complements Luka Doncic. While LaVine signed his contract after the Chicago Bulls effectively named him as their franchise player, Reeves projects to be a clear-cut number 2 once LeBron James retires. Hart may thus be a better comparison in terms of value and expectations, as he's held to the standard of complementing Jalen Brunson rather than having the team built around his own game. Offensively, Reeves is an ideal player to invest in as a backcourt partner for Doncic. Doncic reached the 2022 Western Conference Finals while sharing a backcourt with Brunson and made it to the 2024 NBA Finals with Kyrie Irving, offensive specialists themselves. That's provided a strong sample size of evidence to support the belief that Doncic can thrive alongside guards who create for themselves and others while shooting efficiently. As the NBA continues to evolve, however, defensive consistency has become a non-negotiable for supporting players on true contenders. As such, the Lakers must weigh the fact that Reeves has thus far struggled to provide that bare minimum quality in the way even Irving managed to during the 2024 NBA playoffs. History proves Doncic can overcome the odds, but Reeves would effectively need to provide the peak performances that 2 All-NBA players have managed. That's a tall task and an ambitious goal he's yet to realize. As such, ranking directly in between Hart and LaVine is an appropriate development that reflects what Reeves must change about his game and how the Lakers can realistically value him. Lakers' new threat to steal LeBron James already has strong clutch ties. The San Antonio Spurs are quickly being taken over by Clutch Sports, and that gives all the reason for LeBron James to have them on the radar. During LeBron James' time in the NBA, Clutch Sports has become a powerhouse, thanks in no small part to their representation of the all-time great. With the sports agency planting their roots within the San Antonio Spurs organization, that could make for a natural partnership to end James' career. Ethan Strauss discussed the quiet takeover happening down in San Antonio on a recent episode of his podcast. Their presence would certainly give LeBron, who has seen his sway within the Los Angeles Lakers organization decline, an opportunity to step into a prominent position once more. "They've moved in and they've got a lot of influence," Strauss commented. "People have said that Brian Wright has an association, the GM of the Spurs, with Clutch. The new coach that they've hired, the assistant coach, and you're seeing it down the line." Strauss pointed out the new De'Aaron Fox contract as evidence of the type of influence in place. Fox is, of course, represented by Clutch Sports. Nate Jones, the guest analyst on the show, described the merger of the Spurs and the agency as a natural course of business. Spurs could speed up rebuild with LeBron James signing. The Spurs are undeniably lurking as a team in the Western Conference who is readying themselves for an ascent up the standings. Victor Wembanyama undoubtedly offers any roster an opportunity to compete. Being linked to Kevin Durant as a possible destination before the star forward ultimately joined the Houston Rockets, signaled that the Spurs are ready to speed things up around their young superstar. James could offer the same type of boost that Durant could to the rebuild timeline. Kevin Durant's preferred trade destinations are the Miami Heat, San Antonio Spurs, and Houston Rockets. These three teams are where he would commit to long-term, per Shams Charania. The four-time champion may not be around for as long as Durant, at this point. However, James has certainly proven to have more than enough left in the tank to prolong his career as long as he may want to. Durant may have offered an extra year, or two. The difference, though, would not be that large, and the quality of play is about on par. James averaged 24.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.2 assists per game during the 2024-25 NBA season, racking up an All-Star selection and an All-NBA spot in the process. The playoff production was still solid too. In the 2025 NBA playoffs, James averaged 25.4 points, 9.0 rebounds, and 5.6 assists. The Lakers suffered a disappointing loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round. However, that was more of a reflection on the team's overall shortcomings than LeBron's. If the Spurs want to quickly enter the competitive landscape in the Western Conference, adding James would be a great move to accomplish that. It could come down to whether the four-time NBA Finals MVP thinks they are close enough to a championship to entertain the idea.